Shalom. Call Haluyam La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Rakata Rachak Kodash, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders and the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just want to go into a quick video, just the latest, wrinkles and developments and this World War III, little update. Ukraine and, NATO, the West, are rejecting Vladimir Putin's, Salaki, I'm going to light this incense, Salaki, but Ukrainian president, that puppet, Zelensky, he and the West, NATO, are rejecting Vladimir Putin's peace terms to end the war, that he's having with Ukraine and basically having with with NATO, with America as well, because the whore America is supplying, money, has been financially supporting Ukraine and now, sending military weapons to battle with Russia, right? But Russia is winning the battle, winning the war, but they're receiving assistance and they're not wanting to back down, and relinquish the land into Russia, which is rightfully Russia's. It was a part of Russia during the Soviet Union, and now the West is trying to wrestle away Ukraine from Russia. All right, so as I said, 2 years ago when the war started with Russia and Ukraine, that Russia will win, because we know it's biblical prophecy, the bear Russia will not be defeated because it's the will of the Most High in the name of Yahweh Shai. So we go ahead and get a little bit of this article here. I'll leave it in the comment section, a link to it, and grab some precepts, and close out. It says, Ukraine rejects Putin's ceasefire proposal of ceding land on eve of peace summit. Because I guess this weekend, I need to look into that. It's a peace summit where Russia, I don't think, is invited in Switzerland. So right here it says Ukraine rejected a Russian ceasefire proposal that would require Kyiv to hand over territory to Moscow and drop its NATO membership goal, blasting Russian President Vladimir Putin for trying to cast himself as a peacemaker. They're just retaliating and bellyaching and whining, saying that that Putin is the aggressor, and now he's trying to act like he's the good guy, calling for peace. But as we know, you see, because Ukraine, they're out of order because they were their Russian territory. They speak Russian, right? The name Zelensky, those are all Russian, influenced names. So they're trying to defect from Russian control and influence and get that Western influence, right? They're the ones that's trading against Russia. Said it is absurd for Putin, who planned, prepared, and executed together with his accomplices the largest armed aggression in Europe since the Second World War. That's that third woe cometh quickly, right? 2 woes are past, 2 world wars are past, and the third world war, cometh quickly, as spoken of in, I think, Revelation 11. It says to present himself as a peacemaker and to put forward options for ending the war. Let me reread that. It says to present himself as a peacemaker and to put forward options for ending the war he started that undermine the foundations of the international legal order and the UN Charter, the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs wrote in a statement. But these people are delusional because this is Russian territory, and he has every right to not want his part of their land to be occupied, to be basically Western occupation territory and zone, right there on the back porch, the front porch of Russia. That's too close for comfort for Russia, And in America, they always trip out when Russia come to Cuba or something, right? And come close to their backyard. They wouldn't appreciate that, because America, the whore, is a hypocrite and a filthy, a hypocrite. So, reading on, that Russia's plans are not for peace, but for the continuation of the war, the occupation of Ukraine, the destruction of the Ukrainian people, and further aggression in Europe. The statement added, well, see, Russia, once they take back the land, and they're going to reinstall Russian influence and Russian ways and culture back into Ukraine, because what's happening to Ukraine, they're becoming more and more westernized. And any wise man that understands how the West is destroyed because as soon as if Ukraine joins NATO, then that full American influence is going to infect that land. We know who's going to come marching in, right? The Rainbow Coalition. We know who the Rainbow people, right? The rainbow flags are going to come and infect that area. And then the next thing you know, you're going to have effeminate men, beta men, weak feminine men, emotional men, soft, men, and aggressive masculine women on top of the, so lucky for that, these filthy images. So, you're going to have women on top of the men, and the men worshiping the women, right? And Russia, they don't want none of that wicked Western influence. And it's like a plague. It'll start spreading like wildfire, and that's part of the West agenda, is to destroy the East, and Russia, and infiltrate them with these wicked agendas of the West. Just look at how destroyed the West is. That's what essentially America, the whore, and NATO is wanting to do with Ukraine, and let it spread over there. So, all of these is, and the war will never end, because this is World War III that's in motion, it's underway. And we know that third woe is now has begun, and it will not, the Most High will not turn back, because the prophecies have been tarrying, meaning they have been, sitting still for a while on pause. And now the Most High is putting these prophecies in motion. So we'll go ahead and grab some precepts. Matthew 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So that's going into Jacob's trouble coming soon. The prophecies of the wars of World War III, and the era of the that device to go into your hand or forehead to buy and sell, right? And the apocalyptic times, and the world war going on at the same time. So verse, it's no time like that ever happened, and or ever will happen again. And those are the times we're entering into right now. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. You see, because these days are speeding up. It's already the weekend again. It's June 15, 2024. These weeks are flying by like days. These months are flying by like weeks, seem like. Because that's the Most High shortening these days for the elect's sake, because No flesh will be saved if the Most High don't speed up, because these are very wicked times. It will devour all flesh if the old way, the time, because days seem longer back in the day, right? But nowadays fly by with the we bat an eye. Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And we just read that in Matthew 24. The Messiah gave that prophecy, speaking on this as well, quoting the Old Testament, because the New Testament wasn't written when he was walking on the earth 2,000 years ago. So he taught strictly from the Old Testament, right? And he gave a prophecy, that it's not going to be a time. The last days are going to be a time unlike any time in the history of mankind, any nation, in the history of nations and kingdoms. That's that Jacob's trouble coming. So, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. See, that's the end days. Go through that tribulation. That's going to be unlike any time ever. And then we're going to be blessed with that salvation at the, Most High going to speed up those days during that time. We're going to shorten those days so we won't be destroyed in it, but we have to go through a little period, of tribulation. That's going to be real rough. But then we're going to get saved out of it. That's going to, those that would be tried and true and make it through. In the name of Yahushua, keep that faith until the end. The same, he that endures to the end, the same shall be saved. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So we don't know, so it's very proud and ignorant and arrogant for a Christianity person when you hear them say, I know I'm saved, and then they start running, and then they start quoting, confess with your mind, confess with your mouth that that you believe, you have faith in all that he died and risen, all of that garbage, the effeminate garbage that Christianity have polluted these proud idiots with, and proudly and arrogantly say that they know that they're saved. That's bordering on blasphemy, because we dare not make ourselves a part of the number we put on as the elect, and we endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we'll get that real quick. There's no way that you know that you saved. In that case, you should just jump for joy because you know that you're going to be all right. But we don't know that. You'll know that as time reveals, as times get rough and you're being preserved and you have that faith and that hope. You're cautiously optimistic that you could be a part of the elect, when you're being preserved and miraculous things are happening to preserve you during these rough times. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So what endure to the end? Are we in the end? So how do you know if you're saved? So that right there's a direct cut to the wicked, effeminate, arrogant pride of these Christianity people. That's not humble and that's not meek to say you know that you're saved, That's an arrogant comment. Let's see, going back to Daniel chapter 12, now verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting to shame, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. That's a horrible thing to happen to those, No one want that. Everlasting shame. It's something to shame. Like these Christianity people, they're going to awaken to shame. Talking about they know that they saved. Yeah, okay. Going to bring shame upon them. Because they're eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobsters, all abominable, unclean foods, right? Catfish that don't have, fish without shells, without scales, so forth and so on, and consuming bad, wicked philosophies and doctrine. That's of Satan. So, and then verse 13, we'll drop down there. But go thou thy way, till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. You see, people have been grossly miseducated and misinformed, because that's right there. Why would the Most High tell Daniel to go his way until the end be, for he shall rest? Meaning what? He's going, when he die in that lifetime, he's going to rest and he's going to come back into the earth again. So Daniel is alive right now in the last days, and we don't know who he is, we can only possibly speculate, but we don't know, we know that the spirit, revealed to us that we're, who the Israelites are, but who exactly everyone is, it will be revealed, in the day, in the day of salvation, after we are blessed with that deliverance, right? Then we will know, about the who everyone is. So stand in thy lot at the end of days. See, that rest, we know that when we die, we actually don't, we go to sleep, right? Our spirit returns back into the Father. So that's regeneration, reincarnation right there. It's easy to see that. He's not alive. He didn't live. Daniel didn't live right then at that time, and is alive thousands of years. He's not a man thousands of years old, right? No, it's talking about he died, and then how he gonna stand in his lot at the end of days? He's back. He's living in his day, and he's living in these last days. He's going to be alive in these last days, and go through that tribulation that all of us must go through, that straight gate, to get into that kingdom of heaven. Second Ezra 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? You see, this is the prophet Ezra, and he was saying, who's going to He's saying, who's going to deliver him in those days? What days? The day in the very end times. So, is there a man? Again, it's the same process. Is there a man thousands of years old right now that's living in those last days, in these last days? No. Ezra, he also is alive in these last days, and we have to go through this tribulation. All of the prophets and the elect will go through this process. Some will die, and then they'll awaken, but majority, So it looks like Ezra, he's going to be one of those that's alive, going through that tribulation. So in verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. See, Russian-Ukrainian war, the second, the minor war America is waging with Russia by aiding Ukraine and giving them weapons, right? And the famines, they call it food insecurity. When you go to the stores, you can't, the shelves have pockets of empty space on the shelves, right? That's that famine. It's going to increase. And great death. And we know with the whole C-19, the 2020 lockdowns, right? And then there's more stuff to come here soon, because they're talking about this bird flu thing. And then let's see, and great death. That's going to bring great death with these diseases coming. The beginning of wars, as scripture say, 1,000 shall fall at thy left hand, and 10,000 at thy right, but it will not come nigh thee, right? At death and famine thou shalt laugh. So that's going to be a different kind of spirit on the elect, because we understand what's coming, and when this happens, we know it's comforting, because we know that that the scriptures, the Most High, what He told us is coming to pass, and if we're of the elect, then we're going to be good. It says, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. And one of the reasons they stand in fear because they know they got a short time, and they know that the elect of Israel has awakened and they're about to go down. The beginning of evils, and we know that evil has always been throughout the earth, through every nation. But this is a different kind of evil. It's going to be the worst evil times, Just like there's wicked men, but there's the wicked man on the earth, which is the so-called white man, white race, the Edomites. What shall I do when these evils shall come? See, it's Ezra. He got emotional, rightfully so. He got emotional and was kind of carnal, because he was just so shaken up by the by these visions that he was receiving. It's understandable, But in the spirit, he's of the elect, But we don't know today who's of the elect, but the prophets and teachers and the elders and those that follow the Most High and Yahushua, they're of the elect, but we won't know until it's revealed, right? Until we get beamed up in the so-called UFO, the chariots. But he was just so shaken up by what he was receiving from the Lord in those visions. It says, "What shall I do when these evils shall come?" See, we know the last days wasn't in the time of Ezra, so what is he going to do in the last days when he's back in the earth through regeneration, aka reincarnation? It's common sense, right? It's the only logical conclusion. The scriptures are not complicated, The scriptures say that the words of the Most High is plain to the righteous, but stumbling blocks to the wicked. If you're stumbling over it, then that means that you might want to have to check yourself, examine yourself, and hope that you're not wicked, not a part of the wicked, right? Because we know that I think Wisdom of Solomon 1:4, the Holy Spirit of the Most High Power, Yahweh, does not dwell in malicious, vessels. I'll get that in a bit here. Verse 19, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." You see, the Most High sending that as a way to punish the wicked, to punish the world for their iniquity, to whoop they behind, and righteously put them to death, because this is the amendment. This is to amend and change things for the better. This is to destroy the wicked, and bring an end to the wickedness, for amendment, for a change, for the good. As it must get worse and I show you it's going to get worse before it gets better. But this is all these things, the worst times in the history of mankind that's about to occur, is for amendment, is for a change for the better, the process of change, to bring down the beginning. It is better for an end of a thing than the beginning, Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, let me get that Wisdom of Solomon I mentioned. 1, I think it's 4. Yes. Call Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Said verse 4. "For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter." See, it's only right. It's right and left. Either you're going to have the left hand spirit of Satan in you, always wanting to do wickedness, or you're going to have, the right hand spirit of Yahweh, the Holy Spirit from Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that will bless you with his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, so it says, "For into a malicious soul," and that word malicious goes into sinful. When you look at malicious or mischievous, in the Blue Letter Bible, you can look that up, and it's going into iniquity, a sinful soul. "For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin." So we know chiefly it's going to the so-called white race. Their body is subject to sin, and then they blaspheme the Most High, saying that they're a lot of them want to go by the atheist philosophies, They real wicked. So now we'll go to Matthew 24 and verse 29. See the glorious return of Yahushua. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. You see, immediately. So the Most High's judgment and all periods of existence is like a ring. There's no slackness of the first and no swiftness of the last. So everything happens when one era, like think of something going around a circle, it's perfect circumference and radius. So when one era ends, immediately the other era kicks in. The next action kicks in smooth, immediate fashion. So since immediately after the tribulation of those days, what tribulation, Jacob, that word tribulation means trouble, Jacob's trouble. Immediately after the Jacob's trouble of those days shall the sun be darkened, and that's going into the thermonuclear missiles, because what's going to block out the sun? Why the sun going to get darkened, right? Not the sun getting shot, and the sun not just going to turn black. No, thermonuclear missiles, that mushroom cloud, and that dust and all, smoke is just going to be terrible. Those missiles. Shall the sun be darkened? So it lets you know that so people worrying about these thermonuclear missiles being shot any moment. We know in the spirit that it won't get shot. That's the last result. That's the last thing. There's still key prophecies that got to come to pass before those missiles are shot. So that's why, me and other brothers in the truth, elder apostles of Great Millstone and elders and teachers on down, teach about what, it's going to be a lot of gunplay first, rockets. The granddaddy of all war is going to be that thermonuclear missile. That's the end game, and they're not going to start with the end game, right? It's going to be a lot of, shooting back and forth, rockets, and maybe small tactical nukes, that have a small radius, but not the intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's just, continent destroyers, right? As Putin named it, the Satan too, because he's a devil himself. He's just being used by the Most High to take down the whore, America. And Yahushua, he's going to take out Putin and China, all them bastards, when he returns. After Putin takes out, after the bad Russia takes out the whore, America and NATO. And the elect gets beamed up and come down with the Messiah. That's in 2nd Ezra 13. I'm just flowing in the spirit here. I'm not trying to get off topic or, just beautiful times. It all flows like water. It says, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. So heaven is a rulership, a nation that has a kingdom, but especially the world superpower of the earth. They're at the top of that heaven. Esau is at the top of his heaven with the rulership of the whole earth. And the heathen nations have their own nations and their own borders, and they're making money under Esau Edom. And who's in hell? The Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. This is heaven to all the heathen nations, because the Israelites are down, and they all rejoice at that. They all rejoice at our fall. Always. They're not our friends. They're our enemies. And they're chiefly the enemy of the Most High and Yahushua. Yahweh and Yahushua. So it says, and the stars shall fall from heaven. That's the rulers and the wicked elites that's ruling the earth right now. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And that's the Edomites, that red dragon, that fourth beast, the head of that leopard. Going to the Greeks when they began their reign in the earth. And then that feet of the bear, Russia, it's going to be the end of all the heathen rulerships. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. You see, that's going to all people, all nations. For the devil, that means slanderer, false accuser. That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. It's going to those shortened days. So things are shifting into overdrive, for the return of Yahushua, for his return. And Esau knows this. The elites know this. They know that's why they have the Bible. Those Freemasonry, Masonic lodges or lounges. They have the Bible present in their evil satanic Masonic lounges. And then they swear in wickedly with their left hand, I believe, with the presidents have the Bible present. Why they have the Bible present? Because the Bible is existence, and they know this. The wicked leaders know this. That's why everything that they push in this society is opposite of what the Bible says. The Rainbow Coalition, women over men. You can't touch a woman. One clown told me, "Oh, you can never hit a woman." I said, "Well, wickedness is genderless. She incite a man to do something, and she run her mouth. You ain't gonna let a man talk to you like that, right?" And then these women that are inferior, they don't have any right or license to be wicked. A woman, that's woman worship. This place is filthy, and they gotta go. And Esau knows that he has a short time, so that's why America ain't gonna stop, because they know if they stop as well, that because America is falling is falling apart at the seams. The West is falling apart, right? And this is the only other option. They're gonna just try to lock everybody down and starve them out, destroy them, and make them take that thing in their hand, try to enslave them, and trying to fight this war, try to overcome Russia. But it ain't gonna happen, because it's the will of the Most High to use the bear of Russia to go ahead and end this thing for the return of Yahushua. So hope this video was edifying. The water took Yahushua for another video. Until next video, I say, Shalom.